In this lesson, we are going to study about sequences. A sequence is a set of numbers that follows a pattern. So if a set of numbers follows a pattern, it is called a sequence. Here are three different sequences that begin with the numbers 2 and 6. Look at this. 2, 6, 10, 14 is one sequence. 2, 6, 18, 54 is another sequence. 2, 6, 8, 14 is another sequence. Each number in a sequence is called a term. 2 is a term. 8 is a term. 6 is a term. So each number in a sequence is called a term. You can often find additional terms in a given sequence by figuring it out the pattern of the sequence. You are using inductive reasoning when you make conclusions based on patterns you observe. For example, let's look at the sequence. 2 and the next term is 6 and the next term is 10 and the next term is 14. So what is the pattern you observe? We observe that every term is increasing by 4. So every term is increasing by 4. So can we conclude what will be the next term after 14? It's going to be 18. And what will be the next term after 18? Plus 4. So it's going to be 22. So when we use our reasoning to conclude the next term based upon a pattern, we are using inductive reasoning. Find the next three terms in the sequence. 2, 6, 10, 14. So what will be the next three terms? But first look at the pattern. Plus 4 will give you 6. 6 plus 4 will give you 10. 10 plus 4 will give you 14. So the next term will be 14 plus 4. And that's going to be 18. And the next term will be 18 plus 4. And that's going to be 22. And the next term, 22 plus 4, is going to give you 26. So the next three terms are 18, 22, and 26. What type of reasoning did we use in order to conclude the next three terms based on the pattern? We used inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which each term differs from the next by a fixed number. This fixed number is called the common difference. For example, look at the sequence. What is the difference between 6 and 2? It is 4. Difference between 10 and 6? It is 4 again. 14 and 10? 4. 18 and 14? 4. So the difference between each term is a fixed number. It is the same throughout, which is 4. So 4 is called the common difference. And such a sequence in which each term differs from the next by a fixed number is called an arithmetic sequence. You can use an algebraic expression for a sequence. The expression gives the nth term, where n is the term's position in the sequence. For example, what is the first term in the sequence? 2. What is the second term? 6. What is the third term? 10. What is the fourth term? 14. Fifth term? 18. So n is the term's position in the sequence. So if I ask you what is the third term in the sequence, it is 10. So in that case, I'm asking you about the third term. So n is 3. Find the first 4 terms of the sequence represented by the expression 4 plus 3n. So the expression is 4 plus 3n. And what does n mean? N stands for the term's position, whether it's the first term, second term, third term. So let's form a table for better understanding. Position n, first term. So what is the value of n? 1. So 4 plus 3 times 1, and that is going to be 7. So the first term is 7. Now let's move on to the second term. So if we are dealing with the second term, what is the value of n? 2. So 4 plus 3 times 2, and that is going to be 10. So the number in the second term is going to be 10. What will be the third term? So if we are dealing with the third term, n is 3. So 4 plus 3 times 3, and that is going to be 13. So the third term is 13. What is the fourth term? So since we are dealing with the fourth term, n is 4. So 4 plus 3 times 4, and that is going to be 16. So the sequence is 7, 10, 13, 16. Is this an arithmetic sequence? Let's have a look. 10 minus 7 is 3. 13 minus 10 is 3 again. 16 minus 13 is 3 again. So is every term differing by a fixed number? It is. So it is an arithmetic sequence. Although the question does not ask that, arithmetic sequence. And what is the common difference? The common difference is 3. Write an algebraic expression for the sequence 5, 10, 15. Then find the 20th term in the sequence. So we are required to find an algebraic expression for the sequence. Let us just roughly draw a table. Let's put the position, that is the term number. Position is n. So for the first term, n is 1. For the second term, n is 2. For the third term, n is 3. And on and on and on up to 20th term, n is 20. So let's have a look at the sequence. For the first term, when n is 1, the number is 5. So the number is 5 for the first term. The second term, it is 10. The third term, it is 15. Do you observe a pattern over here? Do you observe something? 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. So in other words, the rule is 5 times n, where n happens to be the term number. So if we are finding now the 20th term, So n will be 20. So what will be the 20th term? It will be 5 times 20, and that is going to be 100. So we can form an algebraic expression from a sequence. A sequence 2, 6, 18, 54 is a geometric sequence. So what is a geometric sequence? A geometric sequence is a set of numbers in which each term is found by multiplying the previous term by a fixed number. Each term is found by multiplying the previous term by a fixed number. This fixed number is called the common ratio. For example, let's look at the sequence 2, 6, 18, 54. How did we get 6? When we multiplied 2 with 3. How did we get 18? When we multiplied 6 with 3. And how did we get 54? When we multiply 18 with 3. So each number is got by multiplying its previous number by a fixed term. So such a sequence is called a geometric sequence. And what is the common ratio of this sequence? It is 3. The first round of a soccer tournament includes 128 teams. The following rounds have 64 teams, 32 teams, 16 teams, and so on. Describe the geometric sequence formed by the tournament. Then find the next 3 terms. So let us first list down the sequence. The first term is 128. The second term is 64. The third term is 32. And the fourth term is 16. So what is the pattern in this? 128 multiplied by half will give you 64. And 64, when you multiply by half, it will give you 32. And 32, when you multiply by half, it gives you 16. So you're getting a term by multiplying its previous term by a fixed number, half. So is this a geometric sequence? It is. So what will be the next term? Multiply 16 with half, and that's going to be 8. And what will be the next term? Multiply 8 with half, and that's going to be 4. And what will be the next term? Multiply 4 with half, and that's going to be 2. So the common ratio is half. You can describe the sequence as start with 128 and multiply by half repeatedly. The next 3 terms are 8, 4, and 2.